The Joker, BoJack Horseman, Rick Sanchez, that one guy with the bad haircut in No Country for Old Men. All of these characters are attempts at nihilism that pale in comparison to the cinematic achievement that is Minions 2015. There are many that mistake this film for being cute or an animated cash grab, but I'm here today to tell you that you are wrong, and The Minions is actually the peak of nihilistic films. Now, before starting our journey, we have to settle on a definition for what nihilism is. I see a lot of people online debate this definition, but I'm here to set the record straight. Nihilism is a philosophy that rejects general or fundamental aspects of human existence, such as objective truth, knowledge, morality, values, or meaning. And what is a more fundamentally rejection of human existence than not being human? Checkmate, atheists. Point 1 for Minions. But to go even one further, this brilliant prequel shows us how these minions became to be. No longer they are stand-ins for comedy that the Despicable Me franchise tricked you into thinking them being. They reject morality by instead looking for the evilest human being they can find and working for them. In many ways, the minions are a dark reflection of us that we needed to see. A quote from this one dude, Fred. "Everything in the world displeases me, but above all, my displeasure in everything displeases me." The directors of this project, Kyle Balda and Pierre Coffin, clearly acknowledge the work of Nietzsche here. The minions want to find the greatest villain in the world, but are never able to do so. It is only their own objections with the world that make their goals futile. And in a lot of ways, that's something that probably resonates with everyone at home. It is not until the minions reject the very notion of vanity that they are able to free themselves from their own confines that they have put themselves in. The minions have also worked for countless nihilists in film when you reflect on it. The lads from Clockwork Orange, Patrick Bateman, and even the dude. All of them didn't come up with the idea of nihilism. That would be absurd. So what is the common thread? And before you say books, let me pose you this question. Would you read a book when you could read a minion? There are probably still doubters questioning my rationale here, but that is likely because they don't speak Minionese. Luckily for them, I'm very fluent.
Banana. Banana. That's about all I can do.
It's an amazing language.
Be the language that everyone has to learn. Everyone.
Yeah.
And once you start to unpack the translations, you too will realize the brilliance in Brian Lynch's writing. Let's start with this clip, which roughly translates to, "The point is, there ain't no point." All of these cute phrases on the surface actually have an unachievable degree of complexity that no writer has been able to reach the heights of. Even renowned screenwriter and director Charlie Kaufman had this to say after he had watched The Minions in 2015.
Ability to watch this movie now and watch it in 5 years and have a different experience because you're a different person, or watch it tomorrow and have a different experience because there are things you can not see the first time. There's too much to see, or you don't have the information at the beginning of the experience to see things at the beginning of a movie that will only be revealed at the end of the movie. I just think that stuff is fun, and it's what I want as an audience.
After that movie, Kaufman actually debated retiring from filmmaking altogether because The Minions set the bar so high for filmmakers everywhere. And who could blame him? There's so much to analyze about this film that few have even attempted to speak on it because it would require a PhD in philosophy and decades of experience and intellectualism to even scratch the surface of what is happening here. Luckily for you, I have both. But let's not stay on that. Here's another example of a Minionese quote.
Comment les bonheurs les rassis? Méditer. Loco la pati. Bob la kingo. La pa la machina poquete.
Now on the surface, the same thing might be happening again, but when you slow down the tape, the actual meaning of this quote will reveal itself to you.
Man, I see in Fight Club the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. Slowly learning that fact. Very, very pissed off.
And I'm not the only one who recognizes this film's brilliance. Many scholars have been outright baffled by the complexity of this cinematic achievement. Scorsese recognizing it as the highest achievement in the art form. Sandra Bullock saying, "I have an Oscar," and was in the proposal, but none of this could have prepared me for the rigorous training I had to put myself through with this project. And even famous British man, Mark Kermode, had this to say about the film.
And a film made very specifically for an adult audience. It's not a family film, it's not for children. And I think that firstly, it demonstrates that animation itself really is one of those areas in, the whole future of cinema can be seen in there. It's extraordinary what's happening with animation now, and that's wonderful. It exists in that strange, uncanny valley between something which is necessarily clearly artificial and something which is oddly human. And I found that very, very, very striking.
So as much as people have clung to the likes of BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, and Sega Genesis Evangelion for their nihilistic protagonist, the actual thing they've been searching for has been staring them in the face in the form of one or two eyes of wisdom of these genius beings. The minions are we. We are the minions. And only the most brilliant minds have been able to tap into this absurd potential for communication.
Unlike any other language, you kind of don't have to, you understand it for some reason. Even though it doesn't make sense, you understand watching the minions speak it, you know exactly what's going on.
Here are some examples of this very thing I'm talking about. Using the minions to express parts of ourselves society wasn't ready to see, and I applaud these people for doing so, because the minions have shown the outer linings of the box the world has put us in. But now that the minions have shown you that box, you recognize there is no box. Only you, Bob, Stuart, and Kevin. Thank you.